Hello grade 10, this is Miss Hughes
And this is Miss OG.
and we're just going to talk you through an investigation. This is from one volunteer from grade 10, just to look at the kind of quality we are expecting. This is the formative task, which was House of Cards. We apologise for the quality of the scanning. This is the best we could do, but hopefully you can follow as we go through it. Starting with the title, it's relevant investigation of a House of Cards.
Okay, so after the title, we'd like to see some sort of introduction. So if I just read this to you just so you can read it. We have been given a task to find out how many cards we will need to make a 10-story house of cards. On the information that 15 cards make a 3-story house. I will try and find the formula by finding if there is a pattern with adding stories. So it was quite a good, nice, short, concise introduction. Talks about the information they're given and what they're going to try and do in the task. And then, then it also says cards are Y and story number is X. Now this is good. We should always define our variables. However, what also we would like to see is just a quick sentence about which one is the dependent and which one is the independent variables and why. So in this case, the story number is, oops, sorry, Miss Hughes. The cards is the dependent variable, and X, the story number is the number of, is the independent variable.
Correct. Because we can choose the story number we want. We don't necessarily choose the cards. And we probably want to see the word variables in there.
Yes, yep. Correct. We want to make sure we get all those communication points as well. Okay, you're going to talk us through, Miss Hughes, how we can find this formula.
Yep, okay, so this student has done the right thing of actually sitting and actually drawing the first 5 diagrams. They're fairly clear, and they've labelled them, which is really good. This saves the reader having to sit and count. It's good for communication points. And they haven't just put 1 and 2, they've put 1 story, 2 cards, so good points there.
Good.
They've then put their data in a table, which is fine. Maybe just for communication, it would be good to just tell the reader, I'm now going to put my results in a table of values. Okay, so this student has used the method of differences. They've looked at what the numbers are increasing by, and they've noticed that it's the second row of differences that is constant. They then use this to find that the coefficient for x squared is 1.5. Now this is good, but we're looking for just a little bit more in terms of vocabulary and communication. So these two, for example, should probably be labelled first difference and second difference.
And how do we know that the coefficient of x squared is 1.5?
That is a good question, and we would have liked them to have said, first of all, that because it's the second row of differences that is the same, that is constant, this means it's a quadratic formula. So that's our first point of information. Because it's the second row of differences, second column of differences that's constant, it's got to be a quadratic. And that number needs to be halved in order to get the coefficient, because the second difference is double the coefficient of x squared in the formula y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. If you're generalizing, that number is double the coefficient. Yeah?
Ah, okay. That makes sense
now. So they realize that it's something to do with 1.5 x squared, so they've correctly listed 1.5 x squared. They've got the spreadsheet to do the work for them. And then they've actually subtracted this sequence from the original. And these are the numbers they're left with. They call them leftovers, which I think is fine. Any other way we could describe that?
I think leftovers is okay.
Leftovers is fine.
Or even to write y minus 1.5 x squared.
That would be a good idea. Y minus 1.5 x squared. Okay. The fact that, again, they've looked at the method of differences, and we would probably have liked to see a comment. It's the first set of differences that is constant, therefore this is a linear part of the sequence of the formula. And they're going up, the increase is 0.5, so it's something to do with 0.5x, and they've actually realised that it is 0.5x. So again, just a little bit more explanation of where this part of the formula came from. But overall, they came up with the formula that it's comprised of 1.5x squared combined with 0.5x squared. It would have been okay to also write this as in fractions, so that would be fine, x over 2.
I would also like to see that be equal to y, seeing as y was already defined as a variable.
Yep. So then we have a nice formula to finish. We could also factorize, I guess. They could have written x brackets 3x plus 1 all over 2.
Yep,
That's an option as well.
of course.
Okay, right.
Okay, so then the actual task did ask to find how many cards are needed for 10 stories. So the formula's been stated, and they've said to work out the 10 stories, I will need 155 cards, and then below they have given some sort of justification of